Hello everyone. Today we will be studying probability. Probability basically means chances. Chances of an occurrence of an event. For example, we say that the chances of having a rain today are higher. That is, the probability of having a rain is higher than the probability of not having a rain. Now in probability, the most common is a single coin. Let's first discuss, we are discussing the outcomes. What are the possible outcomes? When we toss a single coin, we can get a heads or a tails. That is, there are two possible outcomes, heads or tail. Now, if we toss two coins, on the first coin we can get heads and tail. On the second coin also we can get a heads and a tail. Now, there are four outcomes. How? The first coin we can get a head, and on the second coin we can get a head or a tail. Similarly, on a first coin, if we get a tail, on a second coin, we can get a heads or a tail, right? So there are four possible outcomes: head, 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 tail, head, tail, tail. Now, head, tail, and tail, head. We can say that there is one head, one tail in both, but they are different. How they are different? Because in this outcome, we get head first and tail next, and in the third outcome, we get tail first and head next. Now, many times questions in probability are based on the outcomes and a particular event. For example, the event can be where there is only one head. The outcome where there is only one head. What are the probability of tossing two coins and getting only single head? So the outcomes where there is only one head are HT and TH, that is head tail and tail head. So this are the possible outcomes when there is only one head. Now outcome where there are two heads. Only one outcome is there where there are two heads, HH. Outcome where there are two tails, and similarly only one outcome is there where there are two tails. Now three coins. What will happen if we toss three coins? Similar to this two coin tossing, first coin tossed, head tail both can be there. Second coin tossed, head tail both can be there. Third coin tossed, head tail both can be there. So in this case, can you tell how many outcomes will be there? There will be 8 total possible outcomes if we combine all these three coins. How? First coin we can get a head, second coin head, and third coin head or tail. Okay, first coin head, second coin tail, third coin head or tail. Four outcomes. Now similarly, first coin tail, second coin head, third coin head and tail. Okay, two outcomes is, and then first coin tail, second coin tail, third coin head or tail. Two outcome these. So there are 8 possible outcomes. H H H, head head head, head tail, head tail head, head tail tail, tail head, tail head tail head, and tail tail tail. Now let's discuss some cases. Outcomes that have only two heads. Two H. H is heads, two heads. Now these are three head. No. This has two head. Yes. This has two head. Yes. This has one head. No. This has two head. Yes. This has one head. No. This has one head. No. This has. So there are these three possible scenarios, that is head tail head, and tail head head, where there are only two heads. Now, outcomes that have at least one tail. At least one tail, what does it mean? At least means kam se kam. So, at least one, it can be more than one, but one tail is necessary. It can be one, two, three, four, as many as tails, but one is necessary. So, how many outcomes are there? Head, head, head. No, there is zero tail. So, no, one tail is necessary. So, this is cancelled out. This is possible as it has one tail. This is possible as it has one tail. This is also possible as it has two tails. At least one tail. So more than one is also possible. So two tails, yes. One tail, yes. Two tails, yes. Two tails, yes. Three tails, definitely yes. So there are seven outcomes that have at least one tail. HHT, HTH, HTT, THH, THT, TTH and TTT. Now, outcomes that have at most one head. At most one. At most means ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. That is, it can be less than one head, but it cannot be more than one head. So, how many outcomes are there that have at most one head? Three heads? No. It has more than one head. It is not the case. Then two head? No. Only at most one head. Two heads? No. One head? Yes. Two heads? No. One head? Yes. One head? Yes. Zero heads? Yes. So there are four possible outcomes. Head, tail, head, tail, head and tail. So these are the four outcomes that have at most one head. Outcome that has zero tail, that is only one outcome. Head. We get heads on all the three coins. In rest of the scenarios, there is tails at least one. So there is only one scenario where there is zero tail, and that is HHH. Now, you all have played Ludo, right? So in Ludo, we throw a dice to see what number comes and how many moves we can move. So when we throw a single dice, there are six possible outcomes. We can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? So there are six possible outcomes. It is very simple. Now a pair of dice. When we throw two dice together, there are times when we play with the help of two dice together, right? So when we throw two dice together, we can get 36 possible outcomes. How? First dice, we can get a 1, and on the second dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? On the second dice, we can get all of these six numbers. Now, on the first dice, we can get a 2. And on the second dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, similarly, on the first dice, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the second dice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 into 6, total 36 possible outcomes. Now, if we start writing it randomly, like sometimes we can start from 3 comma 3, 3 comma 4, 3 comma 5, we will get confused very easily. So just write it in a proper order. Start from 1 on the first dice and second dice can vary. Similarly, start from 2 on the first dice, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the first dice and second dice can vary. It will help us write in an orderly manner. Now, what is a probability? Probability are chances of an occurrence of an event. Okay, so event P in bracket E. E is an event, the event that we need. For example, when tossing a coin, we need a head. Like in this case, when tossing a coin, we need two heads, right? So this is the event, two heads only. And these are the possible favorable outcomes. What is favorable outcome? Favorable outcome is the outcome that is desirable. Like the probability of the outcome, the outcomes that are needed, that are desirable. For example, when throwing a dice, okay, we need 12 as a total sum when throwing two dice, okay. So the favorable outcome is 6 comma 6 because this is the only scenario when we throw a pair of dice that we get the total of 12, right? So the favorable outcome is only 1, 6 comma 6. Favorable outcome is basically the outcome that is desirable. divided by number of total possible outcomes. That is total number of scenarios that can take place. While throwing a single dice, if we need a 5. Okay, so favorable outcome will be 5 and the number of total possible outcomes, that is what are the total outcomes that can be there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can get any of this number, right? But the favorable one is 5. So, the probability of an occurrence of an event is the number of favorable outcomes. Number, not the favorable outcome, number. How many favorable outcomes are there? It can be one or more than one, right? And the number of total possible outcomes. That is total scenarios that are possible. Now, number of favorable outcomes can be zero also. Suppose while throwing a single dice, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? Now, if we say that we need a 7, can we get 7 on a throw of a single dice? No. So the number of favorable outcomes will be 0. Now, probability of non-occurrence of an event T. If we put this bar, it is the negation. So the probability of non-occurrence. So suppose the probability of getting something is 0.4. What will be the probability of non-occurrence of the same event? Right? So the probability of an event is between 0 and 1. The 0 and 1 included. This is the range in which probability can vary. Probability will neither be less than 0 nor be more than 1. So, the occurrence of an event and the non-occurrence of event, probability of occurrence and non-occurrence, adding them, we get to 1. So, if probability of an occurrence of an event is 0.4, the probability of non-occurrence of the event will be 1 subtracted by 0.4. That is 0.6. Okay. Okay. Now, what are the chances of having a 0? I have already told, suppose we throw a pair of dice and we are seeing the probability of getting a 7. It is an impossible event on a fair dice. Now, there are times when the dice is not fair. Dice, we can just make any dice and write 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, right? That is not a fair dice. Fair dice is the one that is a proper dice. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like coin. There, suppose we make a coin in which both the sides are tail. Okay, that is not a fair coin. So we are talking about the fair scenarios. Unless mentioned otherwise in any question, we will take the fair scenario only. Okay. And what is the probability of 1? What does it mean? That the event E will surely happen. Now, for example, when we throw a coin, we can get a head or a tail, right? We cannot get both, but we will get either one. So it is sure to happen. So the probability is 1. 1 means 100% chances of an occurrence of an event. And these are the extreme cases. Okay. Now, there are few things that we see most of the time in the questions. These are the few terms. First is at most. At most means ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. We can have the value less than the number after at most, but not more than that. For example, when throwing a pair of dice, we can get but at most 5. Means we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we cannot get 6. At least means kam se kam. So, like while throwing a single dice, we need at least 3. So the favorable outcomes will be 3 and more than 3. but not less than 3. That is 1 and 2 are not possible. Only only the value that is given. We need only 3. So the favorable outcome will be only 3. Or yeah, and means both the values will be necessary, or means either one will also be okay, both will also be okay. Less than, more than, between. Now, between 1 and 5, what does it mean? We can include the numbers in between, but we will not include 1 and 5. 2, 3, 4 are yes, but 1 and 5 is not there. From 1 and 5 means 1 and 5 will also be included. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay.